friends to my kitchen. Today I am going to show you a recipe that I just adore and I can never have enough. It's cod. I'm going to do cod Gomes Sá. Now, some of you might goes and say, well, we don't put this in cod Gomes Sá. This is cod Gomes Sá my way. My mom used to do it. Actually, my mom sometimes would do it this way, and other times she would add other stuff. It was whatever we had. But this is kind of an imitation of what cod Gomes Sá is. So let me show you my ingredients. Let me zoom my camera down. In here I have 2 onions chopped half moon. I have 1 bell pepper. I have yellow, and I did half yellow, half red. In here I have 3 tablespoons of chopped garlic, chopped parsley. I have vinegar, and I have pepper sauce, Portuguese pepper sauce. I have the cod. I like to use the flaky cod, the one that is boneless. So my family doesn't like bones, so I'm not finishing with bones. So I buy the boneless. So it's already cooked. I cooked it, I soaked it last night and drained it a couple times, the water, and then cook it this morning. I have green olives chopped. I have hard-boiled eggs that I'll chop. I have Portuguese olive oil. This is a must. If you don't have this olive oil, Portuguese olive oil to do this, it won't taste the same. I've tried. It doesn't do it. And then in here I have boiled potatoes, the golden potatoes, and boiled carrots. So this is where I think some of the changes, the variation occurs, because some people don't put carrots in their cod, but I do. And actually sometimes I even add other vegetables. I think I did it because my kids love this recipe, and it was one way for them to eat more vegetables. So in my skillet, I'm gonna put maybe about 3 tablespoons of olive oil, and I'm gonna pour my onion, and I'm gonna saute this onion till it's translucent. I'm gonna put a little bit of salt, just maybe a 1/4 teaspoon, just so it gets this going. Anyway, so when we were growing up, we ate sometimes a lot of cod, and other times it seemed like it was forever. But like I said, my mom never made the same cod the same way all the time. She would just change it, and so that's why they say there's a million ways or 1,000 ways of making cod. You can never go wrong with cod. I've done the same recipe, and I've had broccoli to it. I've had kale, chopped kale, and kind of put it in between the layers. It's really good. So you can do as you please in a way. If it's you're making it, you do it with. And I like to experiment. I think that's the thing that gets is I like to experiment. I'm gonna start slicing my potatoes when the onions are going, and I'm gonna slice them maybe about a 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch. Doesn't have to be exact. You just want to slice them. So and I'll do the same thing with the eggs. Now this recipe, it's like I said, you can take this recipe anywhere you want. I've done the same exact cod recipe, but instead of using potatoes, I use garbanzo beans. I open a can of garbanzo beans, and I rinse it, and I do the same thing. I replaced the potatoes for garbanzo beans. Delicious. It could be a meal, but it can also be a side salad. A salad for, you know, if you want to take it somewhere, something different, just do the same exact thing, but just replace with the garbanzo beans. Another way, it's like I said, there's a million ways of doing this. Another way that my mom used to do it, and that's how I remember her doing it, and I remember when I came to the United States, I didn't know nothing about this cooking over here and stuff, so, but I remember some of the recipes that my mom and we used to do it when we were home. And this was one of them. But instead of the potatoes being boiled potatoes, you make French fries. And you put the French fries. Of course, they might be changing the name. It might be some other name instead of, you know, cod Gomes Sá. But that's what my mom used to do. It was with the French fries. And then she would do the same exact thing. And then and she would make this sauce, this bechamel sauce. And she would use the water from boiling the cod, which I still do. I have a cup of water here from boiling the cod. I might need it, I might not, but I always reserve just in case if I need to add a little bit more flavor to the cod or want to thin it out a little bit. The sauce, I do that. But like I said, there's just no right way or wrong way when it comes to cod. It's delicious no matter how you make it. She used to do the same exact thing, and instead of slicing the potatoes, she would boil the potatoes, leave them whole, leave some of the carrots kind of in chunks. She would boil, when she boiled the potatoes, she would put kale. So you would have the kale, the boiled potatoes, the carrots, and then you would have all this in your plate, and then you would add the olive oil and the vinegar on top. I've done that too. Delicious. There's no right way or wrong way to cook cod. A lot of people feel intimidated. I mean, I know it's salted, you know, I never salt very much. I only put a quarter of a teaspoon to just get this onion going. But if it wasn't for that, I don't salt it. This is one time I don't salt it until the end. Just because no matter how much waters you change on the on the cod, there still might be some salt. So don't salt until you have everything done, when all this is all done. So let's see other way that you can, you know, I haven't done it, but I thought about it, but I don't know how my family was going to do it. I mean, how was they going to feel it if I did it? Was you do the same thing. What about mixing that's with rice and stuffing in bell peppers? I don't know. Why not? It's like I said, I think when it comes to cooking, you just gotta keep experiment. And like I said, recipes were meant to be broken. You know, I see people making sweetbreads and I go, oh, my recipe doesn't have that. But you know what? Theirs came out better than mine. That's how it is. Experiment. Don't be afraid. Try. And like I said, once you try it one time, the second time you will get more confidence and it will be better. So anyway, I'm gonna babysit this till those onions are come like translucent. and I'll show you what I'll do the next. Okay, my onions are translucent, and now I'm gonna add my bell pepper. And you want to keep this on a medium heat. You don't want this too hot, because if you do, they can burn, and you want them to be soft. And then I'm also going to add all my garlic. It's a lot of garlic, but it tastes delicious. Okay, let this saute for a little bit. Okay, now I'm gonna add my pepper sauce, and this is the one I buy in the store. It has a little kick. So get this going, and then I'm gonna add my vinegar. This is Portuguese vinegar, but if you don't have the Portuguese vinegar, you can use whatever vinegar you have. I like that acidity. It kind of, I think it does something. So mix all this. I mean, this is just, looking at this is like, oh, it's so good. Yeah, my mom used to do, I remember her making this when it was season, the potato season, because I think it was something easy and filling. I mean, we didn't have all this cod. It was barely smelling the cod, but anyway, and I think I remember doing this. I remember us going and picking potatoes and then coming home for dinner, and she would have this made. So what I'm doing is kind of just breaking with my hands a little bit of that cod. I mean, once you put it in there, it'll break it on its own. And that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna pour. And this is about 2 pounds. This is 2 pounds of cod. Like I said, you buy the little, package. And so this is where I always save this water. It kind of seems a little dry. And then that's where your salt is coming from, is from this. So I'm gonna mix all this stuff together, and until it comes to like a little simmer, and I might add more water. So that was about a cup of water there of the boiling, what I saved from boiling the cod. So I'm gonna put all this and baby this for a little bit, and then I might add the parsley, which I can do it right now. Add all the parsley. I mean, you can do this, let's say, this is ideal for holidays, for get together. You can do all this the day before. You can even do the whole dish the day before your party or whatever event. And then assemble everything and then put it in the oven. You know, covered and put it in the oven. This is what it looks like when it's all finished. I add the parsley. I add the water from the cod. So now I'm gonna assemble. Let's go. Okay, so this is how I'm gonna assemble. I'm gonna put a little bit of olive oil. You're gonna use a lot of olive oil, but that's where it's gonna taste real good. And you use accordingly to what you like. I didn't put no measurement on olive oil because everybody's different. So you're gonna lay your potatoes on the bottom. And don't be afraid if they break, that's fine. You kind of just wants to make a layer, and you might have to cut them a little bit to make them fit. Somebody's gonna be happy with this dish today. Actually, this is my father-in-law's favorite, so he's gonna get some, and my mother-in-law. So here we go. I poured the mixture, and I tasted, didn't have no salt. So all the salt I added into this was 1/4 teaspoon. That's why I said always try it at the end. Okay. Press it down. This is not a very deep dish, so I'm gonna have to push it down. And then I'm gonna put some carrots. Lay the carrots around. And I know some of you gonna tell me, Angela, why are you putting carrots on cod gomes sá? They don't take carrots. Well, in my house they do. Some green olives. Okay. And some chopped eggs. And then drizzle olive oil. Like I said, don't be alarmed. So now I'm gonna do another layer. And just kind of press it down. Probably should have got a bigger. My in-laws, they say, we don't want a lot of food. So I was trying to get a smaller dish, but I think this one might be too small. But we'll make her work. So, and just kind of put it around. Okay. Now more cod. I made this for Christmas. For when we went to my in-laws. Oh, everybody loved it. I made a big dish, and they're still talking about it. Oh, that was so good. Because you can eat this hot, or you can eat this cold. There's no right or wrong way to eat it. Like I said, you can do all this and actually eat it tomorrow, and then tomorrow, if you want to warm it up, just cover with foil. Cover with some foil, and then warm it up until it's warmed through. So, and then more olives. And more eggs. And this is the last layer, So if you do a big thing, you can put more layers, but for this one. So now, here we go again. Now, like I said, I've done this same exact recipe, and instead of the olive oil, I do like a bechamel sauce, which is a white sauce. That I use the water and make a white sauce. So anyway, I'm gonna do another dish, and then I'll show you the final. Here is my final product of my Bacalhau Gomes Sá. I made a big tray. I made 2 small trays for my kids, and for me for lunch, I opened a can of garbanzo beans, and I put some eggs. I put some Kalamata olives and whatever was left of that cod. And here I'm gonna make myself a nice salad for lunch.